So, one of the biggest realizations that I had yesterday and that I've been working through a lot lately was realizing how much of my life I spent living in a mental prison that I had built for myself. And as I've been working through this and thinking about it and coming out of it, I was thinking, this is something that I should probably share in a video because I'm sure there's a lot of you that can relate to this. And it just really got me thinking about, the mental prisons that we build for ourselves and how we keep ourselves stuck, trapped, or sometimes it's not even a prison we built ourselves, but maybe that developed because of someone else's words or actions, but we allow ourselves to stay stuck in that. And what I mean when I say mental prison is, all the fear and the guilt and the shame and the limiting beliefs, the things we tell ourselves, like I'm not good enough, or I could never do that, I'm not strong enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not handsome enough, she'll never like me, I'm too fat for him to like me, or I could never accomplish this thing or that. And a big one too is just the fear of the unknown. So often we might have these ideas or decisions we want to make for our future, but we're scared because we don't know if it would work out or what might lie on the other side of that. And we're so afraid to fail that so often we just don't even try. And for the most part, I've broken a lot of those chains that have trapped me for so many years. I've spent a lot of the last year conquering fear and not letting that control my life anymore or completely control my decisions, and just trying to better organize my thoughts and look at the facts of each situation. Because I think so often when we get stuck in these terrible loops of thought, that it's so much of it is just emotional. It's not factual, it's not factually based. But so often a lot of those things are just beliefs that we tell ourselves, stories that we tell ourselves. And I think the best way out of that is to look at, well, what are the actual facts of the situation? Am I telling myself this because it's actually true, or because emotionally I'm attached to it and I'm afraid and I believe it's true? And so being able to separate those things can really help you to see through that illusion of fear, of shame, of regret, and begin to break your way out of it. I think one of my biggest struggles lately too, I've already kind of conquered the fear and shame, but also realizing, I really realized lately, how many choices I had to make in my past, difficult choices, to get to where I am now, to live a happier life, to be healthier, to move to this beautiful place and start my life over. And I think about, how some of those choices were extremely difficult. And one of them in particular, I'm still actively grieving. And it's, I find that I keep beating myself up over it. And it's really hard, and I'm not going to talk about it in this video because I'll probably end up crying. Still working through it. But it's sometimes you're faced with impossible choices in life, and we do our best to make the right decision for what's best for us or what's best for others, and to get through that situation. But then sometimes we still wonder later, did I make the right choice? Should I have done it differently? And we beat ourselves up and we punish ourselves. And I know what I did. I made the right choice. It was best for me, and it was best for me, and I did what I had to do. But I've been dealing with letting go of the guilt surrounding that. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in, sorry, there's this stupid fly annoying me. Sometimes we get so caught up in what if we didn't do the right thing, or what if we should have made another choice, that we forget to consider the options that were actually available to us. Maybe, given the choices that we had, Sure, that may have been a hard choice. It may not have been exactly what we wanted to do, but if it was the right thing to do, then we can't keep, holding our past selves hostage over it and beating ourselves up, punishing ourselves. If anything, if you're in a good place right now, like I am, or even if you're not, but you're on your way there, like the choices you make along the way, as long as you are making the choices that are going to move you upward and forward and grow you and strengthen you and better your life, then you have to understand that sometimes you will make decisions along the way that aren't easy. They could be the hardest thing you've ever had to do. They could come with a lot of grief, but you can't keep yourself walled in a prison of guilt and shame and fear. You have to see it for what it is. It's just something else that's trying to hold you down and claw you back and not let you move forward. And I think sometimes it's not just the trauma that we carry, not just the pain, the guilt, the fear, but it's also the self-condemnation that keeps us trapped. It's the self-condemnation of what we had to do to survive that trauma or that difficult situation. And we can't allow ourselves to stay stuck in those emotions and beat ourselves up. And I hope whoever's watching this, that this is resonating with you. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling a bit. It's a lot, but yeah, it's just something that I've been really diving deep into lately and asking myself. And perhaps this is something you need to do when you find yourself trapped in a cycle of oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. There's like 50 birds that were up on the power lines above me. They're cliff swallows, and they just all of a sudden took off at once. And it scared the crap out of me. Anyway, what was I even saying now? God. Sorry. Damn birds. Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. Thanks a lot, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to pause it because I totally lost my train of thought after those damn birds. So anyway, what I was talking about was self-condemnation, and one of the things that might help you kind of escape your mental prison or work through those thoughts is to ask yourself, like when that fear comes up, when that shame or guilt resurfaces, when you start ruminating on those old decisions or things you're afraid of, ask yourself, like, what is really driving this feeling? What is it that happened to me or that was said to me that created this monster in the first place? And I think if you kind of work your way into it, like, how do I say this? Start from like the outside, the bigger, broader perspective of what the feeling is, what the thought is, and then slowly kind of drill down into, the root of it all. What caused it? Maybe like for years when I was a kid, I was bullied a lot. I was told I was ugly. I was, stupid. I was, wasn't popular, so that I was made fun of. I was beat up sometimes. And like, that created a mental prison for a long time of believing that I was ugly or that I wasn't good enough or I was less than somehow. And by addressing that situation, and by addressing it, I mean, allowing yourself to actually think about it, when stuff comes up that's painful, or that, people so often just want to push it away because we don't want to hurt again from it. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to talk about it. But that actually contributes to you staying stuck when you don't allow those feelings to come up. That's how you heal them and let them go. And I know sometimes you hear like, oh, you just need to let it go. Like, obviously that's easier said than done. And that's definitely something I've had to deal with the last year. But one of the things I've learned about letting go of that stuff is sometimes letting go doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt anymore or that it doesn't still affect you in some way. But I think each time that you allow those feelings to come to the surface and actually sit with them, like don't push them away and actually sit with them, feel them, allow yourself to feel them, and just recognize them. And if you can name it, name it. If you can recognize, you know, this is fear of the unknown, this is guilt from a decision I made, this was shame I feel about something I did or said to somebody, like, if you can name it, sit with it, recognize it, then that's the first step in letting go. Because it may still come up again, but at least for me, when I have that happen, like, I realize next time it comes up, next time it resurfaces, it doesn't hurt as much. It doesn't affect me as much. It doesn't, you know, have as much power over me anymore. And I think that's one of the biggest keys to getting yourself out of, you know, your mental prison, whatever it is for you, whether it's, you know, old beliefs about yourself or bad habits or, you know, fear, shame, whatever. Like, that's one of the biggest keys to getting out, is not punishing your past self for what they did, but realizing that they did what they had to do in that moment, and they were operating off of what they knew at the time. And even if now you've grown or you have more wisdom, or you can look back and think, oh, maybe I should have done this differently, or maybe sorry, I think there's a deer over there. Let's get all these things out here moving around. Anyway, but, you know, just recognizing that and not punishing yourself anymore, and realizing you did what you had to do at the time. And, you know, you can sit there now and think, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should do that. And maybe you could have, but you know what? At the time, you didn't make that choice, and it's the past and you can't change it. But all you can do now is move forward, because the more that you ruminate on those things and beat yourself up over it, the longer you stay trapped in that prison. And that prison can be holding you back from such good things in life, from, you know, making a better future for yourself, building a better life, having better relationships. Like, those feelings that hold you back and hold you down are not good for you. And if you really want to move forward, you need to be able to work through those and be honest with yourself about where those things came from, what caused them. And I think so often too, like, it comes down to forgiveness, you know, sometimes not just forgiving others for stuff they did, but forgiving yourself, you know, and recognizing your own part in that, even if your own part was just simply allowing those thoughts to keep having power and control over your life. And I focused so much of this last year on healing and learning to love myself. And, you know, I thought learning to love myself was just about, you know, doing nice things for myself and improving my appearance and dressing better and working on my confidence and things like that. But I realized there's a huge part of that I didn't even consider, and that learning to love myself was also learning to forgive my past self and have compassion for her and understand what she went through, and that she was doing what she had to do to survive. And, you know, without her, rather than, you know, being hard on her for it, I should be thanking my past self of, like, and having compassion for her and realizing, you know, you went through so much, and if it wasn't for your strength and your courage and everything that you've done, I would not be here right now, and I would not have the life that I have. And so just honoring myself and being grateful and thankful that, you know, even if some of the choices she had to make were hard and I'm still grieving them, like, I understand why she did them, and I believe they were the right choices, and she was doing what she felt she needed to do to get us to where I am now. And yeah, so I hope something in this video helped. I hope and pray that this will reach the people who need to hear it most when they need to hear it, and that it will resonate and you will get something out of it. Because, you know, breaking yourself free from whatever chains are binding you is truly one of the biggest ways that you can change your life and move forward and make such good progress and just be happy. And, like, you will feel so good, like, when you finally let yourself feel those feelings and not let that stuff control you anymore, have power over you. Like, it feels so liberating when you can finally just exhale and let so much of that go. I promise you, like, once you're on a journey of healing and growth, like, the biggest thing you have to do is be honest with yourself, and that's also the hardest. Like, allowing yourself to feel things, allowing yourself to drill down on where things originated that are still keeping you stuck today. And once you do that, like, your life can be so much better, and you can just breathe, and like, it will improve how you feel about yourself. It will improve how you know, your relationships with others, how you show up in the world. And it's such a good feeling. So, you know, and I'm still working through some of that myself. Like, I'm still on this healing journey with you guys. I'm not perfect. You know, I feel like I'm, for the most part, out of the prison, but like, I don't know, I was thinking about it yesterday. I thought of the movie Shawshank Redemption, and I was thinking, like, I'm Andy Dufresne, and I've spent all this time, like, tunneling out of my cell, chipping away at the wall, and now, like, I'm out of the cell, I'm out of the prison, and I'm so close, I'm almost there, but I'm still crawling through, like, what is it, like a sewage pipe or something he goes through? Like, I'm still sitting there, like, crawling through this disgusting, shitty sewage sludge, like, almost there. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, or the pipe, or whatever. I'm so close, but there's still work to do, and I'm still going through it. But, you know, there's also so much hope, because I can see that I'm almost out of this, and I'm almost completely out of that prison, and it feels so good. And, you know, it doesn't mean it's not gonna be messy and you know, disgusting or shitty along the way, but once you're out of it, that freedom, that liberation is so worth it. It feels so good, and I'm so ready to just conquer these last little pieces that have been holding me back. And I'm so excited to see, you know, just how much I've grown and progressed, and where life will take me after this. So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this. You know, if you did, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever. I just, you know, I don't make these videos for likes and views. I make them because I've been through so much in my life, and I know how much it would have meant to me to have someone to help guide me through some of it and help me. So I hope that, you know, some of the things I'm learning and wisdom I've gained along the way can help other people through things they're going through. And, you know, or even if it doesn't help heal you, at least even if you can feel a little less alone, that's such a big deal. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.